Welcome in, Oklahoma football fans, college football fans, to another episode of Oklahoma Sooners Live. Very excited to get into it. Tonight is a live show and a call-in show. That call-in number is down in the description below, so go ahead and call in. We'll get to those here in a little bit, but as always, you can call into that number, and that number is, I'll read it off here. I don't have it memorized yet. 405-353-4535 if you want to call in tonight. Otherwise, you can always jump in the live chat as always. And of course, as always, the all donations and super chats will be read live on the show tonight. We're going to get into SEC Media Days and also a little bit into the recruiting updates and all of that. But first, a very special guest. Very excited to have Kendall Dolby on with me tonight. KD, how's it going, man?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking some time out tonight to hop on and kind of let Sooner Nation know how you've been doing. But first, I mean,
No doubt.
how excited are you to be playing football here in now 43 days?
Man, it's coming quick, to be honest. It's flying, man. But I'm really excited, ready to be back on the field, doing what I love with my teammates, in front of, our fan base and a year of redemption in my eyes for me, but also the guys too. So man, it's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head there because yeah, I mean it's a redemption for the whole team, really. I mean, and of course, I think even more so for you. You're ready to kind of get back out there and get things going again, right?
No doubt, no doubt.
Well, I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are excited to see you back on the field. I can think back to last season. I remember, I think it was Temple game where you had an amazing swat up in the air that ended up getting picked off, and you were just ticked off that you couldn't make the interception. I was
Yeah.
talking about my buddy Jay Smith about that. We were there at the game together, and we were just laughing, because like it was just funny, like here you are frustrated because you didn't make a big play, but then you turn around and you're like, oh, I did make the big play. Do you
Yeah.
remember that play going into the last season?
Yeah, no, I remember it. My teammates and coaches made sure that I remembered it. More,
Yeah.
more, more the part where I started, you know, spazzing out is what you could say. But it was just, I think that just shows the competitiveness in me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Anytime I touch the ball, in my eyes, it's my ball. So just all the work that I put in kind of goes into that. Like, man, I want to make that play. And it was one of those things. Once I realized that it ended up being an interception, Kanai came behind me and picked it off. I was happy for him, but yeah, it was just one of them things, man. I thought it was just, a little PBU, the ball's on the ground. So
Yeah.
I wasn't too happy about it. But Kanai, knowing that he picked it off, it helped me feel a lot better.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, I mean, I saw that right away. I was like, man, like that just shows you got heart. You want the biggest play possible. You don't want just a big play where you knocked it down. You want that play where you got that ball in your hands. And
Exactly.
yeah, that definitely says a lot about you as a player. But going back to last season, remind me, was it the Tennessee game that you got your injury?
Yeah, yeah.
Y-
Tennessee game. Yeah.
So walk me back to that injury. Kind of walk us through that injury that you suffered, and then how's rehab going? I know you said you went through a little bit of rehab and kind of like conditioning and stuff like that today. How's that going, and how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, so just going back to the injury, it was a very unfortunate situation. First two games, Houston and Temple, I feel like I played a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Missed the Tulane game with a concussion. So coming back into that Tennessee week, I was very excited. First SEC game,
Mhm.
for OU in history, and college game day was going to be there. Just a big time game. So going to that game, I mean, man, I was excited. Games going on. Things are going. It's a back and forth game for a little bit,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, the injury happened. It was tough. It was very tough. Mine was everywhere in the moment. Could honestly and real life disbelief. Like it was more of that. Like my little brother asked me all the time, like, did it hurt?
Mhm.
And to be honest, I can't really remember the physical pain. It was just more of where my head and where my heart was at in that
Yeah.
moment. I grind, I work my butt off. You know what I'm saying? I'm always putting in extra work. Anybody on the team who knows me knows I put in extra work. I work very hard. So in that moment, when you see something like that, it's not one of those things where you're like, okay, this is a little ankle sprain. I can come back next week. It was one of those things like, man, this looks serious. So it was tough mentally, but where I'm at now and where I've been going through the process and learning more about myself and my character. That's really the biggest thing that it's been is learning more about my character. In my head, I've always been a tough-minded guy. Always pushing through things, but I've learned so much more about myself going through this injury and about myself building my faith with God. But I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? in my head, I'm going to continue to work until I'm the best I can be. But I'm very pleased with where I'm at. The coach is very pleased with where I'm at. Trainers are pleased with where I'm at. Yeah, they have no worry, man. I've attacked it full head on. So I feel like it's going to be a great season. And I feel like I've been doing everything and taking the right steps to make sure I'm back on that field and, doing what I love.
Yeah, yeah, when we love to hear that too, and that was one thing too. I know you actually had been on a couple different podcasts where I heard you kind of talking about that too, and just your
Mhm.
mental, the mental game that goes into that. Because I know what you mean. I mean, I can remember. I never went past high school sports, but I can remember back then just how much work you put into it, and anytime you miss even just a play, it hurts. But then for you missing the whole season, so I'm really glad to hear that from you. That mentally you're getting yourself back on track. Like I said too, I think a lot of Oklahoma fans view you as one of those pieces on defense that is big, and I think
Right.
you playing that cheetah role too, just coming downhill hard, getting into the backfield. I know you love sacks, you love getting
Okay.
the ball turned over, just like we mentioned. And so yeah, I know Oklahoma fans are excited to see you back out there.
No
Uh,
doubt.
how much of an emphasis? Because I know obviously you're not the only one. Last season, it just seemed like Oklahoma was just plagued with injury after injury. Obviously, most of it being on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
How much of an emphasis has Brett Venables and really the entire staff put on on health and keeping guys healthy this offseason and making sure getting closer to fall practices that everybody's 100%?
It's they've emphasized it a lot more this year. That's one thing I will say. Not saying last year that their goal wasn't to take care of us.
Yeah.
Um, at the end of the day, football is a very violent sport, and unfortunately, injuries is part of the game. But this year, it's been a lot more managing your body, not putting too much on the body, getting the right amount of work in. Don't get it wrong. We still work, but it's a lot more. I feel like sports science that goes behind things, and they realize, okay, this workload, this guy's different from this guy, his body's different from this. So I feel like they've just emphasized it a lot more, and been doing a really good job of managing it, and doing what they can to keep us as fresh and as healthy as we can. So I'll say that they've done a really good job this year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love to hear that. Yeah, and you're right too. I think a lot of Oklahoma fans just kind of obviously, I'm sure you know better than anyone. Just like social media just kind of goes crazy, especially
Yeah,
when it comes to like their favorite sports teams. But just last season, man, it was so toxic, and I hated it. I hated it as a fan, and I also hated it for you guys as players. If you were on it at all, just because it felt like everything, just because of everything kind of falling apart.
right,
It kind of felt like Oklahoma fans were kind of blaming the coaching staff or maybe the medical staff rather than just recognizing like I mean, for example, your injury. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody
right.
really planned for that. It's just one of those wrong place, wrong time. Terrible, sucks that to happen. But the biggest thing that you take away from it is how you bounce back. And so far, it feels like you've done a really good job bouncing back. So I have to commend you. Um, Going on to the defensive side of the ball, I don't think anybody in the nation. I've been paying attention to media days quite a bit too, and kind of hearing everybody out and how they feel about Oklahoma.
Hmm.
And I don't think anybody really questions the defensive side of the ball. But the big thing that they have concerns with is Oklahoma. You guys on the defense specifically, you guys lost Danny being the biggest vocal leader on defense, right? And then you also lost Billy, and then even Ethan, where I feel like all three of them big time role models showed it by their work ethic, but also were very vocal in the locker room. Who do you feel like are guys that have stepped up specifically over on the defense to kind of be those vocal leaders for you guys?
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's been me, RJ, Kip,
Mhm.
Kobe McKenzie, Peyton. The coaches uh, make us understand every day. We lost guys like Billy and Danny, and um, in a lot of ways, in the eyes of different people, that's a big loss for your vocal leaders. But we picked up and learned a lot from those guys, but each of us have our own way of leading, and man, we're older guys. You know what I'm saying? We know what it
Mhm.
takes. We know the standard. We don't need nobody to tell us that. We know what it is. So leading is not a hard thing to do. Now, the way you lead is different. Some guys are more vocal. Some guys are lead by example. But I feel like those guys that I've named, and including me, we've all done a great job. And Coach Vlad tells me every day, man, like you got to be a leader. We expect you to be a leader. We expect you to be a leader. And for me, coming off the injury, um, when I was, earlier in my rehab where I wasn't doing too much, it was kind of hard. I'm like learning, how do I lead from the sideline? You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I've learned to do that. And now that I'm on the field or running around with the guys, it's been easy for me. Like, man, we got to work, and that's what it's been. So I feel like those guys I just named, we've all done a great job of leading, and all the younger guys and the newer guys are doing a great job of buying in as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I love to hear that too. And you mentioned Peyton's name is a big one too. Back in the DB room, I feel like that's one that some of us as analysts we kind of look at it. I know myself, and I've heard a couple others where the one that we're questioning, not that we have any concern and that we don't believe in the defense or anything like that, but the DB room would probably be the one room specifically at cornerback
Hmm.
that we're just not sure how that depth is going to show up because you got a lot of younger guys. I mean, you had Eli step up last season
Right.
in an incredible way, and it
Hmm.
was one that some of the guys that have been inside on the practices, seeing his work ethic and stuff like that. Are there any other young guys, kind of like Eli was last year, that you feel like could be big guys to step up, specifically in that DB room?
Yeah, I really like Cortland Guillory. He's a
Mhm.
freshman coming in.
Hearing
He's
his
done
name a
a
lot.
Yeah, he's done a great job buying in. Very competitive guy, and that goes a long way. You gotta at DB cornerback especially, you gotta have a certain type of swag, a certain type of mentality to go out there and dominate. And he's done a great job. But even those guys who were forced to grow up last year, but now are sophomores. So I still consider them young guys like Devon Jordan, guys like that. Malik Hawkins has been a great dude. Like they've all been doing their thing. They've all Jacoby. He's going on year 3, but he kind of got his feet wet a little bit last year, but this year, his role is going to increase and improve. And we make sure, and Coach Villar makes sure to tell those guys like we're going to need everybody. That's one thing about it. This conference is unforgiving. You got to bring
Yeah,
it every single week, every single week. Even the non-conference games where you're playing lesser talent, like just because you're playing on paper lesser talent and don't got the same, high profile guys doesn't mean that you don't bring it. So yeah, everybody in that room and those young guys, they've done a great job, man. I'm proud of them. They bought in, and I feel like those guys are definitely going to make a splash and take off as soon as the season starts.
yeah, yeah. I love hearing that too. And BV was even talking a little bit about some of the young guys too that at media days too, and very similar guys, the ones you're mentioning too. And love to see that, right? Like the next generation. That's what you got to keep on
Mhm.
building up to keep the program going, especially for guys like you that have really bought into the university. That's your team, and
Right,
whenever you go on and you're done there, you want to leave it off in good hands too, right? So I mean, it's
definitely.
good to see that going through, and of course, guys like yourself and RJ and R Mason Thomas, all those guys, seeing all you guys being those leaders to let them step up into the roles that you're leaving behind is really awesome to see. Um,
Definitely.
going into this upcoming season, it's a schedule pretty much the same schedule as last season. Of course, you're going to be at home for the ones you were away last season, as in terms of the SEC games. You add a very tough opponent in Michigan early on in the season. Looking at it overall, is there a game that you circled on the schedule that you're really excited about?
Um, I got my games that I'm always gonna be, super excited for. But I'm just happy to be on the field.
Yeah,
So, but if I would have to say, I would say, Michigan. Michigan's definitely a big game. I'm excited for. I know a few guys who play for that team. Um, man, Bama, South Carolina, Tennessee. I'm ready to
yeah,
play Tennessee. It's gonna be at Neyland. Not only was that the game I got hurt, so it's gonna mean a lot, but also, Neyland, the atmosphere is unique. You hear stories and stuff like that. So I'm ready to go see what all those atmospheres are talking about. And man, I'm just excited to be on the field, to be honest with you. So
yeah.
hey, Illinois State, man, that's game one. I'm ready
Yeah,
for it. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
that's what I was waiting for. Game one,
Yeah,
that's
no
the one I'm
doubt.
most excited about. Yeah,
No
43
doubt.
days away, man, and
No
it's getting
doubt.
closer and closer. Yeah, I mean it's exciting too. I mean, looking at it, and you mentioned Tennessee. For me, that's the one I'm excited for you. And, I'll be down there. I'm taking my parents down to Tennessee to go down there. We're gonna make a little vacation of it. It's my
Okay.
dad's birthday weekend. He's a Nebraska fan, but he's cheering real hard for Oklahoma.
Okay.
So
That's a
so
good little
hopefully you
birthday
guys.
present. It's a good little
Yeah,
birthday
hopefully you
present.
guys can give him a good birthday present.
No
So
doubt.
yeah, I mean it's an electric atmosphere down there. I'm excited. I think that this will be my first time going to Tennessee too. So,
Mm.
I think back to, was it 2015, 16, something like that, when Baker was around. I don't know if you
Yeah,
ever saw that game.
yeah. That was a
Yeah,
great
and just
game. Yeah.
electric atmosphere, man. And that was back
Hmm.
when Tennessee really wasn't that good.
Right. I think they
And,
was
and
only
you know,
like
and
23 at the time or something like that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so just amazing. And so being able to get your revenge on them last season, where it felt like there was a few games where it felt like Oklahoma didn't really lose the game. It wasn't that the other team was better than them. It's just that there was key moments that just didn't go your guys' way.
Right.
How much of that do you guys take with you, knowing that you guys were really only a few plays away from an 8-win season in a tough schedule, with all of the injuries and everything going against you the way it did last season?
It's one of those things, going in first year into the SEC, everybody, is Oklahoma going to be able to hold up in the SEC? This logo, Alabama logo, this logo,
Yeah,
Georgia, whatever it is, and it's one of those things. Football's football, man. It wasn't that we were, a lesser opponent, didn't have the same amount of talent as these other teams. It was
mhm,
none. It was none of that. Coach V preaches to us all the time that the SEC is a one possession league.
mhm,
So those key moments and those key mistakes, key turnovers, whatever it is, those add up, to like he said, it's a one possession lead to that last possession. So just those things, just it just seemed like we was moving the car, but it was almost like we was missing a few parts. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And whether that was injury, whether that was experience, whether there was just a lot of things that added up. But you also got to take the good with the bad. And what I mean by that is going through that last year, those growing pains, it gave guys a chance, like younger guys, to
yeah,
step up. And even though they were thrown into the deep end, now they're gonna come out. They're able to swim because they had that experience. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of negative that in a moment it sucks, but there's a lot of things where those guys were thrown into the water and man, they're older mentally, whether they're a sophomore or just a young guy. They're older mentally. So I feel like that's going to be a key factor this year. Guys have experience, guys know what it takes, and guys got the right mindset to go out here this year and win games like we all want to.
yeah. I mean, I feel like the vibe I've gotten from the program, from things I've heard from within, and from you guys, how you guys carry yourselves after last season, is that last season was one that did not go your guys' way, but that makes you guys hungrier. And so
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. I think Oklahoma fans are very excited because they can feel that. And I know you mentioned, not really mentioning the offense, but you mentioned kind of missing pieces. And I think the offense was definitely one. Again, I
Hmm.
think the injuries are the biggest thing that go into that,
Right.
and everyone knows that. When you look at this offense, and I even saw a chat pop up too. I'll pop this one up real quick for you. It says, correction says, KD, how's the offense looking? They're looking to put up 45 on the scoreboard every game. So I mean, first, you've got a very different look on offense. You got Ben Arbuckle came in from Washington State. John Mateer transferred in to be with him, and of course, Coach K, as quarterbacks coach. You have Kevin Wilson that came in over on the offensive side to kind of beef things up. Jaden Knott, Javani Gibson, Isaiah Satania. How is that offense looking with really what looks like a brand new offense this year?
They look great. To be honest, they look really good. Practice is competitive. We start fall camp in 2 weeks. So right now it's just been things like what we call skills and drills. So 7-on-7, different things like that. But they look good, and just the energy is different. Coach Arbuckle and John coming over for Washington State. They just bring a different energy, and it's infectious. Guys buy into that. So just in general, the offense is like attitude has changed and it's been great. 45 points every game, that's in this league. That's a tough. Hey, if it was up to me, I hope they put up 70 a game. But it's one of those things, man. All we got to do is work off of each other. Defense is going to work off of offense. We're going to get their offense off the field and put our offense on the field, and we're going to work off each other. That's how you win games. So, and we don't want it to be one of those things where we need the offense to go out there and put up 50 points. I'm sure every Oklahoma fan would want that, but if they're having to do that's saying a lot about our defense, and we don't want that. So
But hey, if they can put up 45, you guys are feeling pretty good over on defense, right? I
yeah,
mean,
I mean that's
you
true.
guys
That's
you guys
true.
got a pretty easy task. Keep the other team
That
under
is true.
45. You can do that. You can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
that's true. That's true. But yeah, man, they look great, man. John, he's a great quarterback, a great guy. Jaden Ott brought him in. He's a great guy and just ballers, and I can't wait to see. Going in fall camp, we'll be able to. I'll learn more about this team and about this offense. But man, what I've seen so far, I love it.
Yeah, offensive line looking pretty good right now too.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. They're beefed up, man. They
yeah,
they they done put on some weight, so yeah, they beefed up. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie.
and hearing about the younger guys too that are hungry and ready to go too. That's a good thing to hear over on the offensive line specifically. Um, going now to the defense. The defense is going to look a little different. You guys have 8 returning starters from last season, but you have Brent Venables now calling the plays. Of course, trying to get Jim Knowles in because he felt like that was the best hire out there to replace Coach Alley. But now Brent Venables, BV is saying, I trust myself more than allowing anybody else. And, this is his year to prove to everybody that last season was not what Oklahoma is. What's the difference with Coach BV out there coaching the defense now, specifically taking full control?
To be honest, nothing at all. I mean, Coach V is a defensive masterminded coach. Before he came to OU, he was at Clemson. You won him a few natties, conference championships. So he brought a standard and a mentality that you're supposed to have on defense. So it's not like bringing in a new coach and we got to get to know him and get to learn what he expects and stuff. Nah, we all know what Coach V expects. We expect a lot from him and he expects a lot from us. So it's no different. To be honest, I like it. I think it's better. I think it was one of those things. I laugh about it all the time. Like I think it was one of those things. He found out. Jim Knowles wasn't coming over, whatever it is, and he was probably just sitting in his room and panicking, and then realized, you know what? I'm gonna coach the defense, which makes sense, right? Which makes sense. He's great at that. That's what he does, and I feel like, man, he knows how to dial things up. He's a great coach, and I just love the buy-in. Some guys feel like if it's too much and he asks a lot, he asks a lot. But if it feels like too much, then it's not him as a problem. You're just in the wrong place. So I love Coach V's mindset, and I feel like, man, it's no different at all. We all know what it takes, and we're ready to go prove it.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I know I was asked. Let me pull this up real quick so I make sure. So Randy Smith asked me over on X to ask you, what are your personal goals? Of course, staying healthy is one of them. But any personal goals going into this upcoming season?
The goals, always to go out there and make plays. I love being impactful for my team, and glorify God while doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is, my story and my journey has been crazy, and I just want to make sure I stay true to everything that I've been through, and so just on the field, making plays. The goals always for me. I set my standards high. I want to go out there, and all conference honors, national honors. That's the goal. But I'm just gonna my goal this year, is just to take it step by step. If I'm doing everything right, it will come. And if it doesn't, that's just it wasn't meant. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give everything it takes. I'm gonna give everything it takes. So for me, that's my personal goals. But as far as the team, I think it's the same thing. We want to go out there and win games. Nobody likes losing. So go out there, win games. Whether who believes in us or not, but the goal is always we're going to win the conference. That's our mindset. Making it to the playoffs, those are all goals, and I feel like I said, if we're doing all the right steps to do everything right, and uh, if it comes, then we did what it takes, and if not, then it's not going to be because we didn't try, or we didn't give it our all. So that's definitely the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing I want to ask you because I know back in February you started up your YouTube channel, your podcast. You've kind of taken a little bit of break from it. Is that something you're wanting to fire back up?
Yeah. I definitely started back up. So my cameraman, he actually goes to OU. So he went home to see his family. Go on vacation a little bit. Yeah, we've kind of been away from each other a little bit. And I kind of needed a little refresh too.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I play football, so
yeah,
as bad as I want to, make videos and stuff like that, sometimes I do need time to rest and rest my body, and also I'm doing a lot of recovery. But it's definitely something that I'm about to start back up real soon. I think we're meeting back up in the next 2 weeks, so I'm definitely gonna have an idea to get a video out there and some content. So it's gonna start back up for sure.
yeah. It's awesome to hear. I know a lot of Oklahoma fans. It looks like even Hoodie Allen down here. He says Kendall, when's the YouTube videos come back? So I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people
Yeah,
loved it. They love hearing that from you guys, from the players. That's why I was happy to have you on here, because I feel like it really gets fans to feel like they get to know you guys a little bit better too. So
Right.
I do have that link down in the description below. So everybody that's watching, make sure to go over there and subscribe to his channel. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever he's back, and kind of bringing you behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff too. So
No
a
doubt.
lot of fun. I know a couple of chats I saw while we were talking pop up. Trent says, "Sorry, but as a diehard Sooner fan, I feel like this young man's being slept on and forgot about. Dude was on track and looked like the best player on defense, and I'm thinking he'll return to form." So kind of a little bit of motivation for you there, seeing that
Yeah,
fans are excited for you, man. And then
yeah, man.
also, Jacob also says, "Same here. Soon as he became my favorite player, we lost him. Prayers for his health, dominance. Once again, God has a purpose." So again, I mean, Sooner fans love you, man, and so I know I'm excited to see you back on the field. I'm glad your health is going good. I guess make sure you stay healthy, heal up, stay healthy,
No doubt.
and then of course, good luck on this upcoming season.
No doubt, man. I appreciate that, and man, I'm ready to be back out there. In my head, I'm the best player, and I was crazy. I was just talking to my position coach, Coach Vlad, just the other day, and he was just telling me, man, it's crazy because we have one of the best players in the country talking about me, and nobody knows it. So just hearing him say that, and hearing the coaches believe I'm one of the best players in the country, and man, it's motivated me a lot. So I'm ready to get back out there and show it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Katie, I appreciate you so much for hopping on tonight. I'll let you go. But again, appreciate it. You have yourself a good rest of your night, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Man, I appreciate that. That means a lot, man. Appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
All right, everybody. That was Kendall Dolby. Again, make sure to go subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's linked down in the description below. There's also a phone number down below, and I will try to pull that phone number up. Here it is on the screen, 405-353-4535. 405-353-4535. It'll ask you to say your name, where you're from, and then you'll be in a queue. And as soon as I can, I'll get to those calls. And then, of course, just like always, just try to keep it clean. That's the biggest thing I ask for you guys. Again, huge shout out to KD. Very excited to see him on the field again, and I know you guys are too. Something else that I want to mention, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Last I checked, just a couple hours ago, we were 2 subscribers away from reaching that 6,000 mark, and I know we can grow double of the 6,000, triple of the 6,000. So let's try to get there. 6,000 before kickoff was our goal. So maybe we'll make that 6,500. But if you're not subscribed, hurry up and hit that subscribe button real quick. That'll help us get to that 6,000 mark and then move on from there. And then also, of course, all donations, super chats, they'll be read on the show. But we're also launching a subscription to this channel, very cheap. I don't have the prices up in front of me, and I forgot that I was supposed to put this out to you guys, but I will make sure that from now on we'll get that put into the description so you guys know how to get subscribed and all of that too. So we're trying to do that. That way we can keep on growing this channel. We want more things like what I was just now able to do with KD and all of that. So very excited for all the big things. But for now, totally free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And then, of course, call in 405-353-4535. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about as long as we keep it clean and keep it professional. I'm going to dive in a little bit to first recruiting updates, because there was a little bit of excitement in the recruiting realm here recently. 4-star wide receiver Daniel Odom finally locked down his recruitment, shut it down, and signs with OU. This was pretty big. He was a really big get for Emmett Johnson. And it's exciting to have him, come aboard. This is something that for Oklahoma fans, the wide receiver room is one. I think the tight end room is another that they're really hoping will be built up. And of course, here recently, it seems like things are going in the right direction. And I'll pull his social media post up real quick as well, so you guys can see this. But yeah, Daniel Odom, 4-star wide receiver. He was pledged since January. January, I believe this year, January. And so he pledged to Oklahoma, but he was still keeping his mind open. He wanted to kind of look around and see where else. And I know Florida State, Washington, Colorado were 3 that were pretty big, pretty high up. Seemed like they were surging in. Seemed like they were going to take Daniel Odom away from Oklahoma. But Oklahoma pushed a little bit harder, made sure that they got in there. and they got his commitment. And so this was really big. This is huge for Oklahoma to be able to have him 100% committed and ready to go at Oklahoma. And deciding on Oklahoma. He took to social media to mention that he made up his mind officially, and so that was huge. Let me pull this up real quick, and I'll read. I should have had this ready to roll for you guys, but of course I didn't. So, anyways, we're good at going on the fly here. So. He says this was one of the toughest decisions. He says, I'm home, Sooner family, 100% committed, Boomer Sooner. He said, this is one of the toughest decisions I've had to make in my life. With that being said, I'm only one person and I can only choose one school. After much prayer and consideration, I've decided that I will not be choosing another university. Effective immediately, I'm shutting down my recruitment and 100% committed to Oklahoma. Please don't take my non-responsiveness as disrespect. I wish you nothing but the best, and please respect my decision. Daniel Odom. So really big for him, for the university to secure that commitment. And he put out there, hey, I'm shutting it down. So don't try to contact me anymore. Basically, just leave me alone. I'm on a do not call list from now on. So really big, excited for Oklahoma to have gotten themselves another wide receiver and a 4-star wide receiver, a blue chip. Something else too that I wanted to pull up, and I think I saved that one on my phone. So obviously did not really plan some of this stuff out, but this was put out there by CBS. It looks like Bud Elliott from CBS Sports. He put this out there. It was a blue chip ratio, and again, I'll see if I can pop this up real quick too, just because why not? But this is something that I think was quite a bit of kind of an exciting thing. Let me see what this is called real quick. Try to get this up for you guys. This is something that CBS put out, and it was something that I think Oklahoma fans. Let me remove this one first. Put this up so Oklahoma fans can be excited about this. It's the blue chip ratio in 2025, and I'll see if I can switch this view up a little bit to where maybe you can see that better. Still can't really see Oklahoma on the bottom of it, but hopefully you guys get the gist of it. There we go. That's a little bit better. But a blue chip ratio in 2025. So it basically was telling what the top 10 college football teams that could actually win the national championship. And this is really completely based off of blue chip ratios. And so, you've got Alabama up there at the top. You got Oklahoma sitting there at 70. I believe that's 70%. I can't see my screen very well from here, but yeah, they're at 70%. Alabama up at 89%. Ohio State the same. Georgia at 84%. Texas A&M 82%. Oregon at 78%. Texas at 78%. LSU and Notre Dame at 73%. Oklahoma at 70%. And they even went down through the top 20, I think, and gave every team that had a chance of winning the national championship based on their blue chip ratio. I mean, I think this is really encouraging for Oklahoma just to look at that because, for example, Daniel Odom signing on with Oklahoma, adding another blue chip to that roster. And I think that's really big, and I think that's not going to go away. I know a lot of kind of criticism came about with Jim Nagy and what he was saying. And I think a lot of that was misunderstanding. A lot of that really wasn't totally, taken in full context. And he explained it a little bit more at SEC Media Days. I did hear him talking a little bit about this. And really what he's trying to say is there might be a 3-star player that we're going after because the new recruiting system that they're doing, they're making their own model. They're not going to pay attention to the stars because they don't want to see that. They don't want to pay attention to what somebody else has a player ranked as. What they want to do is make their rankings based on what they see in pure metrics. And then go and look at what the stars are. Wow, okay, we thought this guy was a 4-star and they had him as a 3-star. Who knew? It's more, if he happens to be a 3-star, we don't care. We still want him. He still fits the scheme that we're going after. It's not that they're not going to go after the 4 stars and the 5 stars. It's really more about just the fact that they're going to focus on specifically what this player brings. And of course, Daniel Odom is one of those guys that is going to bring a lot of good things to Oklahoma. So very big for Oklahoma and for Emmett Johnson being able to get him in. Going on to SEC Media Days. SEC Media Days was it happened this past week. I was not there. I wasn't going to go. It would have been my first time attending SEC Media Days. And, so the big reason why I decided I'm not even going to try to go, I would have had the opportunity, but what I view the SEC Media Days and any conference media days, I view as uh, as the media that is covering their teams exclusively, and I'm thinking the big ones that are really tied to the school mainly. And then, of course, you've got your bigger networks and stuff like that. I think the professionals, I think there are some individuals who have grown their brand. Something like what we've got here at Oklahoma VOCFB. But then I think that there are others that so I think there are some in the individual sector that all power to them for going to SEC Media Days. I guess I just maybe an imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I was part of that group, but apparently there were plenty of others that just showed up and didn't care too much about that. But anyways, SEC Media Days happened this past week. So I can get off the rambling there. SEC Media Days happened this past week, and it was really a whole lot of maybe nothing for fans for the most part. I did have some takeaways from it. I think there was a couple of decent takeaways, but the one that I saw the most was just the silly questions. Specifically for Oklahoma players, I felt like there were so many silly questions, just repetitive questions too. It was like in the same session too. I'm not even just talking, you go from one session to the next. You might go from one show to the next or something like that, being on different shows as a guest. But I was hearing the same question asked like two questions later. It was ridiculous, and so that was kind of ridiculous. I was talking to Brandon Drum about this. I kind of teased at him. I was like, "Hey, good questions," because he brought up a couple of questions that I actually wanted to know, and I was happy that he asked them. And so it kind of made them. It gave us something to build on, and I'll get to those in a second. But I kind of teased him because I said, "Hey, thanks for not asking about Love Island." I didn't even know what this was, so I had to look it up because I was like, "What the heck is happening?" And what is why is this guy asking about Love Island? And I don't even remember what it was. I think he was asking. I think it was R. Mason Thomas, and he's asking him like these Love Island scenarios, and I was like, "What is this?" And so I looked it up, and it's come to find out it's the one of the ads that pops up whenever I'm trying to watch something on Peacock, and it looks dumb, and I don't know what this has to do with football. That does not belong at media days. That's the main reason why I didn't go, because I don't think I had anything extra to add to media days this year. Maybe next year. But this year, I just didn't really feel like I had enough to add to media days. Some people need to reflect on themselves and just realize I don't have anything to add to media days, like asking Love Island questions. Who do you think would make it on Love Island was one of the questions he was asking him. And then who would be voted off of Love Island? I don't know what Love Island is exactly. I know it's some cringy show, and that's about all I know. Apparently, it's some kind of competition or something. You get voted off, but just stupid questions and repetitive questions. And then going over to specifically Missouri, and I'm not trying to call anybody out specifically, but it was just weird. Like come up with questions that are going to actually bring meaningful content. Instead, it was, like, what do you take away from the Missouri game last year? That got asked to, I think, every single player other than John Mateer, maybe even Brent Venables as well. Brent Venables was asked about the Auburn game. He did, all it was what do you remember about the Auburn game? Well, I remember, about 60 minutes worth of gameplay. Like, what are you getting at here? What did you want to hear from that? So that was kind of ridiculous. I didn't understand all of that. And then, again, because Brandon and Drum and I were kind of teasing about this, it was just funny to me. Like, what are we doing? SEC Media Days needs to crack down a little bit on who they're letting in. Like, if you're not going to come in here and ask questions that are relevant to the game of football and the conference, or at least the team specifically, then what are you doing here? Yeah, just really weird stuff going on there. But Brent Venables, he was also asked about the Air Force game, the bowl game against Air Force. And I thought, yeah, that was weird. And just he was even asked, "Are you going to take that veer option offense and try to run it with Mateer?" Uh, Why? 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 Just because Air Force had some success with the last season? Like, no. We've got our offense set in place. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. I know there was an Auburn media guy that just kept on asking the exact same question to everybody too, and I think it was that same guy that asked, "What do you remember about Auburn last year?" Is is that all we can come up with? Do you not want to know anything specifically from the mouth of Brent Venables that would give you something meaningful to talk about or to write about, to let others talk about, to write about? I don't know. Just really weird. And then they were asking all the players too, like, what were your takeaways from the Auburn game last year? It was a cool game. It was their first SEC victory, and the fact that they did it on the road, really good. But yeah, I just felt like the questions were not good. There was a couple of good questions here and there. It just felt like the media personnel that showed up did not have good questions ready and prepared. So I was pretty bummed about all of that. Anyways, one good question was from Brandon Drum, actually. And so shout out to Brandon for a good question that uh, I think we learned a lot from. He just asked about the young guys. What young guys could you see stepping forward this season? And he mentioned BV mentioned some young guys that he thinks, and I know he mentioned Eddie Pierre Louis. So EPL's one of those guys he thinks would be playing quite a bit this season. He even said UK Dan. I love that he was using his nickname there. So that's Daniel Akin Kunmi. I made sure to put the pronunciation there, so I at least get it close. I'm sure I'm still butchering it, but yeah, Daniel, Dan, UK Dan, he's gonna be on the field apparently. BV thinks he will show his face quite often on the field. Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foje, a couple of freshmen on the offensive line, so that was big news to hear. And then you have Danny Okoye was thrown in there, Reggie Powers, David Stone being among those that are mentioned that he really hopes to see out on the field more often this year. Marion Robinson, Cortland Guillory, who we were just talking about with KD here just a little bit ago. So I think there's all kinds of young guys, and I think I'm leaving a couple off of that list too because there's a name that I'm forgetting off the top of my head that I didn't even put down on my notes. But BV mentioning all these young guys, I mean, it's huge. It's awesome to hear all of these guys, being mentioned as guys that are probably going to come in. And so, yeah, big news. Love to hear it, and love to hear all of these names. Again, guys, that call in line is open. I will get to calls here in just a moment if we have any pop in. That's 405-353-4535 right there on the screen. You'll be able to hear the show and everything, still follow along with the show. So don't worry about that. You'll be able to hear everything. And then you'll hear a beep whenever I'm allowed to let you in. But going on, another thing that I took from SEC Media Days was John Mateer. Everybody loved talking to John Mateer. I feel like he obviously got the most attention. And one thing that I really took from John Mateer was how poised he is, how he dealt with all of that media surrounding him. I saw a clip just before going live tonight that was him stepping up on stage because he wanted to say hi to Paul Feinbaum, and then he was like, "Oh, wait, am I not supposed to be up on stage?" And then Paul's like, "Hey, what's up?" Like welcomed over there, like, "And great to meet you." And he's like, "I just wanted to say hey," and I think I heard him say something about like, "Man, it was a lot," like he's not used to all this media and all the media surrounding around him. So he showed a lot of poise. He shows you how that aura really bleeds out. And you can see why people like him. He is silly. He's goofy. He is very, very eloquent when he's talking. He knows what he's saying, and his teammates were even mentioning that too. How it just feels like he always knows what the best thing to say is at all times. And he knows what to say and how to be silly. Kind of quick witted. So there's a lot with John Mateer that I loved. And he handled all the questions very well. I think there wasn't a single question that I felt like he answered with some kind of politically correct answer or anything like that to make the fans happy. He just gave a straight answer, a true answer, and it was his true answers is what Oklahoma fans wanted to hear, or what even the media wanted to hear from him. Obviously, I think all the guys really get along with him, really embraced him. He mentioned that several times, how it was easy. He discussed a lot about how coming over to Ben Arbuckle's system was huge for him. He was excited about that, and how much that transition was made easier because of Ben Arbuckle and this system that he's stepping into, and of course, Coach K over there with being his quarterbacks coach still. So there was a lot to that where I think it made it easier for him. He mentioned it made it easier for him being able to meet the players around him and meet what's new, and then also being able to coach them as well as being their friend and being closer to him, being a leader. And so getting to know the guys was huge for him. And so I loved hearing that from him. Honestly, I really did. And it seems like he really likes all the players around him. They all like him. It seems like not just liking the players around him, but the playmakers around him. I think that's what I really took away from it, is that he genuinely believes that we got some dudes in Jaden Ott. Jim Nagy, Brent Venables both talked about Jaden Ott, and how special he is. John Mateer was the same way. He was talking about him. I think either RSJ or R. Mason Thomas, one of those two, was also talking about Jaden Ott. Like, man, that dude, he's back there. He's quick. I think it was RSJ was talking about him that I heard. R. Mason Thomas might have talked about him as well, but just talking about how what they see from him is something truly special. So very excited. And I heard some good things. I think listening to the players talk, you heard some good things out of them. You hear high spirits. You hear about how we know what happened last season. We didn't like that, and we want to improve from there. We want to win games. That's the impression you get. And so, at the very least, it hyped all the fans up, right? Brent Venables going on for like 15 minutes at least in his opening monologue was kind of a laughing point too. But we as fans love it, right? I mean, I do. I love it. I love that he talks a lot. I love listening to BV talk. I think he has a lot of good things to say too. But I think that was a lot of fun. But anyways, going on, I'm going to jump over to the chat real quick. I don't see any callers in the queue, so if you're trying to call in I'm not seeing you, let me know in the chat, and I will see about that. Let's see here. It says, what is this? Stoopstified. Am I saying that right? Stoopstified. He says, Brandon John, big time expert on all things Love Island. No, I was just talking with him about how funny it was that somebody's asking about Love Island there. He wasn't the one asking. But yeah, it was funny though. I kind of laughed at some of the questions that were being thrown in there. I didn't understand it. See, Jacob Frank, he says, yeah, I wasn't impressed with the questions to OU. Felt like trolling on some of them. Yeah, and another thing too to bring up was I felt bad for Jackson Arnold just answering over and over again about what went on at Oklahoma. Let's relive this over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, it was just nonstop. I can understand it's going to be brought up. It makes sense. It should be brought up. But that was just weird to me that it got brought up as much as it did. So, yeah, that was another thing. Jimmy Satterfield says, Kip 6 is what I would have said. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's the one that they all remember the most. I mean, that was the game-changing moment. That was the winning moment, too. So, for sure. Modern Day Caveman says, I think that guy asking BV the silly question about Navy offense was probably looking for clickbait, hoping BV would get frustrated and say the wrong thing, be the talk of the SEC media day. Maybe. I honestly just think, like, in the moment, so I've been in a few of these moments, specifically covering baseball, where you have an opportunity to ask questions, and there's times where the question that you're wanting to ask is already asked, and so instead of asking again, you just kind of you just kind of go out there and you're trying to think of the next question to ask, and it's just not coming up. I don't know. I just don't know where that question comes from, honestly. Anyways, clickbait has been on every podcast since the whole Stinking Riley. Yeah, I mean, at 100%. I mean, clickbait is, I don't like that term too much. I mean, when it's used negatively, because I mean, I'm in this business, so I mean, I understand you are looking for clickbait, I guess. I mean, you want people to click. That's how you get the monetization. That's how you get the viewership. And I get that to an extent. But yeah, I think what you're talking about. I think when it's used negatively, it's like it's drawing you in for the wrong reasons, right? So, I think that's a big thing. But I think overall, yeah, I mean, it's just I felt like a lot of the questions were kind of silly. So, anyways, I'm not sure if our call in line's not working tonight or you guys are just too shy to call in. But I'm not seeing anybody in the live call in, so we're probably going to call it a wrap. But again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, everybody. Again, we're only a couple of way from 6,000. We might have reached it while we were going live here tonight. We're hoping to be able to do more like we did tonight, and keep on growing. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching after the fact, comment down below. It's another great way to help us keep on growing. We do have a subscription here on not subscription, a membership program here on the channel. I will try to get that over into the description as soon as possible. Right now, I'm pulling it up, getting it ready to go to put that into the description, so that way you guys can check that out. See if you'd be willing to help out to keep on growing this show. But anyways, I appreciate everybody so much for tuning in, for checking us out here tonight. Again, we're live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for Sooner Smiths. And then that's with Chad and Tierney Smith. And then on Tuesdays, Oklahoma Sooners Live here with me. And then that's also on Tuesday, 7 p.m., 7 p.m. on Thursdays for the live call-in show. So make sure to tune in next time. Appreciate everybody so much for tuning in tonight. We'll catch you next time. Boomer.